went into a house in Springfield, Missouri, late on a June night in 1992. By morning, they were gone. Not one woman, not two, three. A 47-year-old mother, her 19-year-old daughter, and then daughter's 18-year-old best friend, who had just celebrated high school graduation hours earlier. Their cars were still there. Their purses and personal belongings were still inside. Even the family dog had been left behind. But the women themselves had vanished. More than 3 decades later, none of them have ever been found. That is what makes this case feel so wrong. Because in a lot of disappearances, there's some sign of motion. A car on the highway, a sighting at the gas station, a phone call from somewhere else, a body in a place that at least tells you where this story ended. And this one, it's like the house swallowed them. And then refused to explain anything. This is the story of Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall, also known as the Springfield Three. On June 7, 1992, Sherrill Levitt disappeared from her home at 1717 East Delmer Street in Springfield, Missouri, along with her daughter, Suzie Streeter, and Suzie's friend, Stacy McCall. The FBI says the 3 women vanished sometime between 2:15 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. after Suzie and Stacy returned to spend the night there following the graduation parties on June 6. And right away, this case gives one of the most powerful kinds of true crime tension. The final known place is a home, not a parking lot, not a club, not some isolated roadside. A home, a place where, by every normal instinct, they should have been the safest. Instead, it became one of the most infamous unsolved cases in America. On June 6, 1992, Suzie and Stacy graduated from Kickapoo High School in Springfield. Public timelines say the ceremony took place that afternoon at Hammond's Student Center, and Sherrill had attended to watch her daughter graduate. Afterwards, the girls spent the evening going to parties, like so many newly graduated teenagers do. That is one of the reasons this case always felt so haunting. It begins one of the most normal, recognized American rituals there is: graduation, caps and gowns, photos, family. A long summer night where teenagers move from house to house, celebrating the fact that one part of their life just ended and another one is about to begin. And somewhere inside that ordinary happiness, something started moving in the dark that nobody saw. Not yet. As the night went on, Suzie and Stacy were supposed to stay at a friend's house, Janelle Kirby's. But like so many teenager plans, that plan shifted late. Public accounts say the house was too crowded, so sometime around 2 to 2:15 a.m., the girls decided instead to go sleep at Suzie's house, where Sherrill was at home. That decision, one small last-minute change, became one of the most important facts in the entire case. That detail always hits hard in cases like this, because the decision probably felt tiny, not life-changing, not even memorable. Just, let's go somewhere quieter. We'll sleep there instead. Just one of those ordinary little pivots people make all the time without imagining that the whole future is hanging on it. By the time Suzie and Stacy arrived, it was late. The FBI places the timeline, the woman's disappearance, in a window beginning at 2:15 a.m., which is why investigators believe the girls made it back to the house and were there overnight. That house is the last confirmed location tied to all three women together. The house at 1717 East Delmar has become one of the most eerie addresses in American true crime, because almost everything about the morning scene suggested the women should have still been there, or at least that they have not intended to leave for long. Police case summaries say their cars were outside, their purses and personal belongings were inside, and the family dog was left at home as well. Think about that. 3 women vanished from one home, yet it does not look like a planned departure. No obvious sign that they packed. No sign that all 3 calmly left for some outing. No reason, at least on the surface, to believe they intended to disappear together and never come back. And that is where the case begins to feel almost supernatural in the way people describe it. Not because anything supernatural happened, but because the house still looked inhabited by routine. The things of life remained. The people did not. The next morning, Janelle Kirby and her boyfriend Mike Henson came by the house because Suzie and Stacy were supposed to meet up with them and head to Whitewater Local Water Park. When the girls did not show up, concerns started to build. According to public accounts, Janelle found the front door unlocked and went inside. The women were gone. Their cars were still outside. The house did not appear normal, but it did not immediately scream chaos either. That is another reason this case lingers. The discovery scene does not give you clean answers. It gives you discomfort. It gives you small things that feel wrong. The kind of wrongness that can be easy to miss for a few minutes before it becomes terrifying. One of those details was broken globe from the porch light. Public accounts say it shattered, though the light bulb itself remained intact. Janelle's boyfriend swept up the broken glass because Janelle was barefoot, something police later believe may have destroyed potential evidence. That single moment, a well-meaning cleanup before police arrived, is one of the most frustrating details in this entire case. Because true crime cases are often shaped by little accidents like that. Not malicious mistakes, human ones. A person trying to help, a person trying to tidy something harmless looking. And later, when the truth turns out to be much darker, everyone realizes they may have wiped away one of the few clues they ever had. Then there is one of the strangest and most maddening details in this case: the answering machine. Public accounts say there was a disturbing message on the machine that police might believe have been important. But before investigators could hear it, the message was accidentally deleted and the contents were lost. That is a nightmare clue, not just because it might have mattered, but because it sits right there at the edge of the case, like a door that almost opened. Maybe it was unrelated. Maybe it was just a prank. Maybe it was the key to everything. And because it was erased, nobody can say for sure. That kind of uncertainty is poison in unsolved cases, because every lost clue becomes permanent. It does not just disappear from the evidence file, it starts echoing. People keep coming back to it year after year, asking the same impossible question: what was on the message? One of the difficulties investigators faced almost immediately was contamination of the house before police could fully secure it. Friends and relatives had entered. People moved around. Glass was cleaned up. The house in those early hours was treated more like a site of a worrying absence than the scene of a possible triple abduction. And that distinction matters a lot. Because if the three women have simply stepped out, people walk through the house, they answer phones, they tidy things, they pet the dog, they look around. But if the house is the center of a violent disappearance, all of those no more actions become problems. By the time investigators began working the case as a major disappearance, any fragile scene that might have existed in those first moments had already been disturbed. And in a case this strange, where even one fingerprint or one preserved object might have meant everything, the early blur of people in the movement may have cost investigators dearly. At the most basic level, investigators and the public have always come back to one impossible question: how do three women disappear from one home in one night? It is already hard to imagine one adult being taken without noise, chaos, or a clear trace. But three? A mother, a teenage daughter, and another young woman? That scale is part of what makes this case so unsettling. The simplest broad theory is that the women were forcibly abducted from the house sometime after Suzie and Stacy got home. That theory fits the fact that all three disappeared in the same window and left behind their belongings. It also fits that eerie stillness of the scene, where it looked like life had been interrupted rather than packed up. But because their bodies have never been found and no clear forensic reconstruction has been made public, the exact mechanics remain unknown. And that leads to another chilling possibility. Whoever did this may have had enough control, whether through threats, deception, or familiarity, to move 3 people without creating a kind of obvious wreckage people expect from a violent crime scene. One of the endearing theory lanes in this case is that the person responsible may have been known, or at least not immediately alarming, to one or more of the women. That theory makes emotional sense because a stranger overpowering 3 people inside a home without a clear public trail feels incredibly difficult. A person known to Sherrill, Suzie, or Stacy might have been able to get closer, get inside, or create enough hesitation and confusion to take control. And if that theory is right, it adds another layer of horror, because then the danger did not simply arrive from outside. It may have arrived wearing the shape of familiarity. Another common theory is that Suzie and Stacy may have drawn unwanted attention during graduation night and were followed back home. Public timelines make clear that they had been out at parties moving through the city and then changed their overnight plan at the last minute. If someone connected to the parties saw where they went or learned where they were headed, that could have set the stage for what happened next. This theory is especially haunting because it turns a night into a slow setup, not a random eruption at the house, but something that began earlier while the girls were still celebrating, still driving, still thinking that the night belonged to them. And that is often what makes this case so painful. The victim is already inside the story long before they know it. There is also the possibility that the central target was not Suzie or Stacy at all, but Sherrill, because the final scene includes her disappearance too. She was not simply collateral left behind at home. She was taken or vanished along with them. That fact has led some to wonder whether something in Sherrill's own life, relationships, or routines may have intersected with the crime. Publicly, no such theory has been proven, but it remains part of the wider unresolved question of who exactly the intended victim was. And that possibility makes the case even colder, because it suggests the girls may have come home to the wrong house at the wrong time, or that all 3 women in different ways were caught in the same trap. Over the years, a lot of names, rumors, and theories have floated around this case. One of the better-known later figures was Robert Craig Cox, a convicted kidnapper and a robber who in '97 claimed he knew the women had been murdered and that their bodies would never be recovered. But public summaries say investigators did not consider him credible, and his statements never solved the case. That kind of thing happens in famous cold cases. People surface with claims, confessions that do not hold, half-truths, attention-seeking stories, and fragments of knowledge that may or may not mean anything. And for the families, each one can reopen the wound while resolving nothing. The Springfield 3 case has attracted decades of speculation, precisely because the core mystery is so clean and strange. No confirmed remains, no public resolution, no single suspect who closes the circle. Just one summer night, one quiet house, and 3 missing women. The FBI still lists Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall as missing, and the Springfield's official missing women's page continues to identify the case as unsolved. That means this is not just a ghost story from 1992. It is still an open wound, still a live question, still a house with no ending attached to it. There are some true crime cases that disturb people because of what was found. This one disturbs people because what was not. No bodies, no final sighting anyone can rely on, no public explanation strong enough to carry the weight of the 3 vanished lives. Just a house, 3 women who should have been inside it, and the awful evidence of ordinary life still waiting for them when morning came. Maybe they knew the person at the door. Maybe they were followed at home. Maybe the whole thing was over faster than anyone ever imagined. But whatever happened at 1717 East Delmore, it took more than 3 women. It took the last normal version of the house with it. And the most haunting part of it all, on the June morning in Springfield, Missouri, the cars stayed, the purses stayed, the dogs stayed, and only the people disappeared.